Kyoto, the cultural capital of Japan. I came here a couple of years ago by myself during winter, and I remembered liking this city a lot. I was pretty excited to see Kyoto in autumn, and so here we are. Kiyomizu-dera is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Kyoto, and that also means that it's one of the busiest places as well. Yvette hasn't been here before, so we decided to visit it. As you can see, it's a really popular spot, and it's hard to navigate around, especially when it's raining. To be honest, it might have been worthwhile if the whole place was covered in autumn leaves. But somehow this year, autumn arrived a little later than usual. Fushimi Inari is also a popular tourist destination because of the orange torii gates that are along the walking path. I remember that there was a nice city view at the top, but it turns out that the city view was around the midpoint of the trail. At the top, there was just a small shrine there, and the view is blocked by the surrounding trees.
You know what? I started to realize that the time when I climbed, I only climbed to that station. I never came out here. I never came out here before.
You told me.
I'm not entirely sure if it's worth the journey up, but I do think that if you are ever thinking of coming here, you can consider just taking a break at the midpoint and head back after. The Kyoto Imperial Palace was the residence for Japanese emperors for 500 years, until the capital moved to Tokyo in 1869 during the Meiji Restoration. The palace was also burned down and rebuilt several times, and most of the present buildings were constructed in 1855. The palace is within the Kyoto Goen National Garden, which I thought was quite a nice place to hang around on a cool autumn day. The beautiful thing about Kyoto is that despite it being this crowded touristy city, you get these nice quiet places and alleys if you choose to explore away from the usual spots. We came here largely because it's near where we were staying. The main hall is called Goedo, and it is Kyoto's largest wooden structure. It did feel very zen and calming while we were there. I really enjoyed the sense of being present, taking in the subtle smells of incense and wood. Nishiki Market is this stretch of shopping street which is lined by shops and restaurants. Although it's quite crowded, I do like the vibe here. The There's a huge variety of food that you can try, and the soy donuts we tried here were really nice. But do note that some areas where they sell like a variety of food did feel like a tourist trap. Nanzenji is a temple located at the base of Kyoto's forested Higashiyama, and is one of the most important Zen temples in all of Japan. When you are walking to the temple, you will likely pass by a large brick aqueduct. This was built during the Meiji period and was part of the canal system that carried water and goods between Kyoto and the nearby Lake Biwa. The temple was constructed as a retirement villa for the emperor, but was later converted into a Zen temple. To reach Ginkaku-ji from Nanzenji, we took a scenic walk via the Philosopher's Path, or Tetsugaku no Michi. It was relatively quiet, and you get to enjoy some nice autumn colours along the way. The route was named as such because philosophers and professors walk this path frequently as a morning exercise. So it's not exactly the most exciting story. There are two temples in Kyoto that are pretty well known, Kinkaku-ji and Ginkaku-ji, which are translated as the Golden and Silver Pavilion Temple respectively. In my brief research, it appears that the Golden Temple was built by a man who was really rich, and the Silver Temple, which we visited, was built by the grandson 70 years later. I do like how there's a viewing vantage point here at Ginkaku-ji to look at Kyoto. We went to this restaurant that served Obanzai. Obanzai is a traditional style of Japanese cuisine native to Kyoto. It does feel like you're having a nice Japanese home-cooked meal. Everything tasted light yet flavorful. It was so comforting to have this meal after I spent a full day out walking. And I do recommend going to one of these restaurants if you happen to be in Kyoto. We spent our last night at a rooftop bar in Kyoto. The weather had generally been quite warm in the day, despite the fact that it was already November. But the nights were pretty cooling. The wind at the bar was really nice, and it was the perfect way to end our time in Kyoto.
Hi everyone. I almost forgot to do a room tour, so I'm gonna do a quick one. So this is our room in Kyoto. It's two queen size bed and we only sleep on one of them. A TV, a fridge, and I would say not much of a view, but usually keep the curtain closed anyway. Excuse me, Red. Please let me show. That's a very quick rundown of our room. And we're gonna start driving, so see you at Nakasendo.
觉得辣也没有。Oh my！
残念です。
Not meant to be.
Sad though. That was at least 200 yen.